Good morning, everybody. I am your host, Egnards. We are here for brunch for the first time in 2 weeks because of my vacation. We have done a few things throughout the week afterwards, but I like to view brunch as, exactly, Sunday morning. Always Sunday morning. So nothing else counts. Con Warlock, good morning, man. I didn't do my dailies this morning. I generally do before we do brunch, but we have that 1 week where there's no TB, no conquest, nothing else going on. My raid is already done. We did that on Friday. So on those days, I like to just wait it out and get it done together. We'll try to knock this out quick. I'll write down my stats on a sheet of paper so that I can go into my notepad later for data collection. Happy Sunday, man. Cheers. I don't think that there's any crazy events going on. I don't think there's a smuggler's run too, so this should be pretty quick. Super. I'm so excited about that. I'm so happy that I don't have my raid launching tomorrow. That would really piss me off. I hate Mondays so much. And this is actually the first conquest ever that I'm going to lose out on some energy for conquest, just because conquest starts at 2 p.m. for me, and I'm teaching classes from 1 to 3 very specifically. So I'm gonna lose out on about an hour's worth of energy, which kind of sucks, but I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. So that'll take a second or two. I was thinking about today maybe doing an addendum to my conquest guide, some of the stuff that I learned from the last conquest that we did in this cycle, but I don't know if I'm gonna have the time for that. Yeah, for people like you being in different time zones, I had actually thought, and I know it's not really coded into the game right now, but I thought it would be nice if they allowed you to overmax energy, like as a buff for 6 hours or so, and just collect energy for 6 hours past, because it's very annoying. I'm going for signal data today with my my Cantina energy. I do still need to get Padawan Obi-Wan up, but he's just so far ahead of Master Qui-Gon that I'm not really worried about that at all. Slan, that sucks, man. That really sucks. Mondays really are awful to me. And it's not just the game, it's just the way that my schedule works out. It's a later day at work for me. I have to get everything done. As like an officer, we have so much to do with like setting up TV stuff. So I really do not look forward to Mondays from a game perspective. And it is a tough day from a non-game perspective. I know Garfield jokes about that all the time, hating Mondays. I used to not hate them. I always thought like, hey, I got all this energy today. This is awesome. But not anymore. If only things were changed. What needs to get done? I know some people have like a very specific cadence to how they do their dailies. I don't. I jump around constantly. I just pick and choose and balance. I forget. I then collect them all and go, oh right, I forgot something. I would love if Conquest started on a Saturday, personally. I know it's kind of tuned to how GAC works. I don't necessarily have an answer to that. I'm sure there is an answer to that, a way for them to change that. Or if Conquest if Conquest went based on your local time, but again, I know that it's hooked up to like GAC timers, and that could make things problematic for some people. It's again not something I have an answer to. I wish I did. I'm sure there is an answer, but it really does suck for people who it pops in the middle of the night. Yeah, you would think so. And then they release a raid, right, a day and a half before they have a major holiday where everybody's off. So you'd think that they would be smart like that. And then they do something crazy like, hey, we're going to pop our raids whenever. So I don't know if that's true from a this game perspective. 28-0 on my Omicrons today. Though I got 2 in the last week, which was really nice. I'm a little low on crystals over what I normally have. I bought those stupid 3 packs for Cantina Energy. I'm really going to try to go hard with this raid to at least get to the 8 to 10 million point. I know you can't control it, man, but I wish that they would kind of keep that in mind, because I do think it is important. I know some people are saying that R0 in the new raid is overtuned. I found it weird. If you guys, for those of you that watched on Friday, I had my R7 team, and it was leftovers. They weren't like they were good characters, but I had to bring them all down to the G12 tier in order to do anything, which is kind of crazy. Like, not even the R5 tier, not even the R3 tier, but literally the G12 tier, which is insane to me. Let's see. I have to buy things from the store, I think. 3 store shipments, Galactic War. Okay. And let's get our store shipments in there. Yeah, I was, because I have hot utils, C squared, first of all, cheers. I know you're not usually here on Sundays, and it's normally during the work week that I see you, so. I was thinking about using hot utils to set up one mod set that would use my mods from all my GLs that are not part of the raid, and just remodding one time instead of remodding for every specific team. It would give all of my teams better mods overall without having to like go super, super crazy. So I was thinking about doing that because my like Seppi's team is doing really well, but my Seppi team is doing really well, but they're not modded well. I think I could probably do a little bit more with reducing my Jedi, my Luminara team, if I modded them a little bit better. Let me help you out, man. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation. Amen. I have not said that prayer in, 20 years, but somehow I still remember it. Are you impressed with me? And also, hopefully your wife is driving and not you. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb for me. Okay, what are we at? We're at, let's say, 10. There we go. Just real quick before we get into these roster reviews, Grand Arena. I've won my last 2, which is kind of cool. I was excited about that. My first match, I said this to you, Cap. I sent you a screenshot of this. I beat him by 5 points. He had a much he had a much more efficient clear than I did. Hey, H2O man, cheers. We gotta go out for another beer, dude. It's summer. We don't have work. Well, we have work, but not as much. So he had a much more efficient clear. I think I dropped like 3 battles. Maybe it was 2 battles. And I still beat him. So I guess he was probably sending in... Yeah, so he... Maybe it was 1 battle. I think it was just the Jabba battle that I dropped, which I do on purpose. Yeah, so I dropped the Jabba battle. I still managed to beat him on efficiency, which was really nice. I was excited about that. And then my second win... Ah, dude, congrats. I'm assuming... Well, I don't know if finished means finished for the semester or like finished, but either way, congrats. Second win was like a turtle win. He wasn't able to get through Jabba. I think it just took him too much to get through Jedi Master Luke, which was super nice for me. My next opponent obviously has 2 wins, so it might be a little bit harder. He does not have Leviathan, so I could probably screw him by setting a really hard fleet. Maybe I'll actually scout him later to see what he normally sets, because I could probably screw him over with that. Yeah, dude, there's a place by me, by where we moved. It's kind of like a bar. It's actually kind of like my favorite bar in the city, where it's just walls of beer, you know, and you go up, you pick a beer, you pay for it. You bring like board games if you want to bring board games. It's like 5-10 minutes from my house. My wife and I have checked it out a few times. It's super cool, very low key, very divey. It's obviously, it's not like a brewery or anything, so they don't brew their own stuff, but it's we've enjoyed it so far. Okay, you know what cheers, man. Yeah, how do you forget that when we spend so much time together? All right, let's just check on this raid. I was hoping for the 230 box, the 260 box. It doesn't look like that's going to be possible right now. 2 guys beat me. I think I'll beat them next time. There's a lot of zeros being posted, so I am hoping we can get to that 130. Slan, I was hoping to beat you out, but it seems like our guild is having a lot of trouble with this too. With even the Luminara and the Seppi squad, both of which I have not had problems with. But we'll do more on that when raid time comes. So we're gonna disconnect this. We don't need it right now. We're gonna go back to Discord. Even though my yeah, you know, people talk about GP-based matchmaking when it comes to GAC, and for those of you that remember, we used to have effective GP. Is that what we used to call it? I think it was called effective GP, and honestly, it wasn't really any better because people build... You might go against somebody who's efficient like myself, who has a very top-heavy roster, but also a lot of bottom-heavy stuff. Or you might go against somebody that just is doing whatever they want and just upgrading whatever you want. When you get to my level, a lot of rosters fuck you, Blackhammer. A lot of rosters look basically exactly the same. But in Chromium and in Iridium, you're going to see more rosters that might be a little bit this way or that way, depending on what's going on. Slan, yeah, there's, you know, I think once Jar Jar gets back into the game and Master Qui-Gon is more of an option for people, that our scores will improve pretty considerably. But I've seen a lot of people really pissed off about this raid and questioning things and angry about things, and I've been trying to like say, hey, watch this, do this, look at that, here's the teams that I've been using. Nobody listens to Egnards. They come to him for advice, and nobody listens to him. They just do whatever the fuck they want to do. Actually, you know what, man? I did miss the marquee in my dailies. That's a good call because I didn't do it yesterday, and that's smart. I'm gonna do it right now. My phone is disconnected, but I'm just gonna do that really quick while we're talking, because I don't do it at 2 p.m. like you might do it or other people might do it, and it's actually smart to say, hey, let's do it in the morning because that's when I'm doing my dailies anyway. So we're gonna get that stuff done right now real quick while we're finishing up this little chat. Yeah, people get really mad at me when I offer solutions. I thought my Discord, my Reddit solution is a almost perfect one. But you know, there's nothing I can do when the player base just wants to be angry. All right, let's finish this up. I saw somebody on Discord got a 330 on this wedge, I think, wedge salad. And people got really mad at him. It was very funny. I woke up to that. Yeah, Slan, I'm trying. I mean, the 260 box I'll be happy with based on the difficulty right now. Unless they change something even at the bottom 2 levels, that'll be super that'll help out considerably, I think. I think what people don't realize with this raid, they're getting really mad that they have to invest in characters. But if you really think about it, and you and Rymus and I were kind of chatting about this, and what is it? You, Rymus, and I were chatting about this when the raid was first kind of released with the information, and this is, I think, important for everybody too, and this is something my guild was talking about yesterday, and they were really mad about it and saying like, oh, I need R9 teams. If you're a top-end roster, you don't actually have to do that much to get to that 5.4. All you need is 1 R8 team and 2 R7 teams. And if you really think about it, that Padme team is going to be, or that Quadme team is going to be high priority because you can get that to R9 as a 3-man and then also get the assault battle. So not only are you getting a raid score, but you're getting an ROI on all of those tiers up until that, even if you only go to the R8 tier, right? And then if you get 2 R7 squads, the Seppi Sith squad, you're going to have primarily at R5 anyway from all of the requirements going forward. The only thing that you have to upgrade as somebody who's in a 10, 11, 12 million guild is stat, right? So that squad is already built for you. And then really the same thing with 1 Jedi squad. All you need to do is upgrade Luminara and Kit Fisto. And the rest of it you're going to already have. You're going to have Beck. You might not have Cam. And Captain Amazing, you on Scoundrels talking about Cam, I very much agree with you. Utility, I don't think it's so much that they have to invest in new teams. I just don't think they realize how little they actually have to invest. At least to get to a 260 score or a 5.4 from one person. Now again, being in Chromium, Iridium, being in a mid-tier guild, being in a lower tier guild, there is a lot of investment that you're going to have to do. But if you are in a guild that's at the 570, 600 range, you can get very creative to piece together 3 teams. And then not have to worry about it depending on what's going on. Now, I obviously have Jar Jar, so I can push a little bit ahead. I'm not telling people to go after Jar Jar, but from what I've heard, you can actually do considerably well with a 10 Mat Omicron and a 4-man team. So I think over the next month, scores will increase considerably, but I do kind of agree that they... I would love to see that outline, Slan, honestly, because I would want to send that to my guild. So please send that to me, man. But you can do pretty well if you're in those higher guilds, but I think, and I do agree that level 0 and that level 1 might be a little bit overtuned from what the intended was. All right, so with that said, let's pop it ahead and say, well, I agree, Slant. I'm actually considering, depending on what they do with B2, I'm considering bringing that team to R7 because my Sith are already there from requirements, and I could see that building up that squad. And because I had to bring Stop up, I got his Omicron to make him much more useful in GAC. But with that said, we got a lot of roster reviews. We're gonna try to get through as many of them as we can today. We got ElpualoDiablo up first. I was actually chatting with him on Reddit, I think yesterday. It was funny. He had sent this out actually a while ago, but that's neither here nor there. I apologize if there's a little bit of shake on my screen as we go through this when I write stuff down, just because I'm in my basement so that I can stop whenever I want instead of during the work week because my wife works from home, which means I am on a folding table right now. I don't have a desk down here. So I'm going to try to limit that as much as possible. But you guys can all admire my Mega Man wall. All right. I was distracted. Let's get back into this. So, ElpualoDiablo Fleet Arena is mainly executors, so newer character. I usually sit around the 10th spot with one battle a day and enjoy not having to keep fighting, checking to get higher rewards. No coordination. I don't know if that means no coordination between you and your shard or if there's no coordination at all, but I would definitely reach out about that because coordination makes things so much easier for people. I was talking to someone on Reddit yesterday, and they were talking about Leviathan fleet comps for a 100% win, and I was saying that with the MK6 in the opening lineup, I get about a 95% win rate on auto. And they were saying like, oh, that doesn't do so great on defense, and I drop, and it sucks. And we were having a back and forth about like coordinated shards and how like I want to drop, like I want other people to get that slot. I only need to be in that slot for a short amount of time. So it doesn't matter if I drop. That coordination can be super helpful even if you start it yourself. Assault battles, most CT1. So I'm going to assume in 6 out of 7 are CT1 and Inquisitors are the only 0. I'm not saying 6 out of 8 because Duel of the Fates is still so new and it doesn't offer rewards in the same way as other ones. So we're not going to kind of keep that in our equations for newer players just yet. My farming plan is based on what I think of as priorities, which for me are next meta fleet too far away from Leviathan, so I'm planning to put everything in the next fleet when it is announced. Gungans, have them ready, just waiting on the event. Inquisitors, I like Reva and the ship that come with the Inquisitors, so they are my 3rd priority at the moment. Some more tunes for the raid. This is likely to move up the list as I'm waiting to see which teams are good value. G12 quick farms are going to be nerfed. B2 led Sith, I'm looking at you before investing. If I get here before the next fleet is announced, then profundity. I have all the shards, just need to relic 5 or 6 characters, maybe Jabba. With my priorities, I work on the highest I am able to, so at the moment just farming Kairos for either Jar Jar or Inquisitors if I get enough to upgrade them all before the event comes around. But I'm happy to switch priorities around or add new ones as needed. Before today, priority 4 didn't exist and was added because of my first random button attempt at the new raid. So there's a lot going on here that we kind of want to discuss. The first thing is that next meta fleet. At the moment, I don't see us getting one until at least Q1 of 2025, and that's 5 to 6 months away at this point, before it's even really announced, right? They basically gave us a roadmap going into the end of the year, and there really isn't much room for there to be a big meta shift in that time. I'm as surprised as you are, but I don't think it's worth holding out, but again, this is before I actually look at your roster. As far as that B2 led Sith team, I kind of agree with you, which is why I'm probably going to increase my Luminara team first over the next week or so, just to give CG a little bit of time to decide what they're going to do. But personally, having used the B2 led team, it works. I don't necessarily think it's overpowered at all. It does what it's meant to do. The battle takes just as long as any other battle. It didn't, like, when I went into my attempts doing it, it didn't seem like the magic that CG makes it appear to be. So I'm not as concerned about them nerfing that team as other people are, but I do want to be cautious in that same regard. Raid tunes, fleet. All right, so let's actually just take a look, because there's not too much else I can answer before we start talking about what we actually have. So ElpualoDiablo. Man, why is my source so much? Oh, there it is. Perfect. Kyber 4, rank 10, and the executors. Is it all executors? 10th spot. Fleet arenas mainly. You know, I get that you only want to do one battle a day, and I get that it sucks. But going from one battle a day and staying at 10 with 200 crystals a day versus being in the top 5 at potentially 2 to 3 battles a day, you are increasing your rewards by 50% for an extra 5 minutes of time a day. The reason why coordination can be so important, and Captain Amazing, you brought this up on the last stream that we did when we were talking about this same thing. Because of your time zone and because of you knowing that there's nobody climbing in the 8 hours between you, you're able to more slowly climb, and you're able to like do a battle here while you're on the, you know, you're pooping, for lack of a better word, and then you can wait 4 hours and do another battle. That's one of the advantages of a fleet shard. So I kind of have the same thing. There are people around the same time as me, but there's very few, and I kind of know where I can jump to. So I can't jump to the top 3 slots within 2 hours of farming, but I can get to that 4th or 5th slot within 2 hours of doing my battles, right? So I can kind of position myself very easily with 2 to 3 battles a day, and it's really nice, but that's up to you. You know, I can't force people to do that. 6 million. At 6 million, I really would like to see a little bit more variety for the assault battles. So you're telling me that you can do most of them at CT1 and your Inquisitors are at CT0. I'm assuming that you're doing none of them at CT2 to 3, which is a really terrible assumption, just because looking at your account right now, you definitely could. So Supreme Leader Kylo Ren can do places of power at CT3. It involves using what's his name? It involves using unmasked Kylo Ren and him, and waiting out the battle and putting it on like auto for a while and then coming back and destroying it. You'll need to watch a video. It's very easy, but it is time consuming. I do understand when people don't want to do it. Having Jedi Master Luke tells me that you can almost definitely do ground war at CT3. So assuming that you're not already doing that, I would take your Jedi Knight Luke. See what these mods look like. Right, so you have Jedi Knight Luke set up as a leader, right? Because you have no speed on him. I don't know how you're using him. I'm assuming you're doing a Jedi split. If you're not doing a Jedi split, if you're using him with Jedi Master Luke, you do want speed on him. But for ground war, you do want him as slow as possible, and you want to use him in the leader slot there. You're going to put him with, let's see, Jedi Knight Luke as the leader, Jedi Master Luke. I would use Revan. I would use Hermit Yoda. And I would probably use Kenobi just for the mass assist that he has. Your goal is going to be to call Jedi Knight Luke to get his turn as quick as possible so that he speed limits everybody else, and ending every single round so that he uses his mass attack, or not his mass attack, he uses his called ability so that he starts each round. and that will allow you to speed limit things as quickly as possible in each round to get to that CT3 if you're for some reason not already doing it based off of what you said. The same thing with military might. Just delete these guys. Right, we look at military might, Commander Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, C-3PO, Chew-PO, and actually Mon Mothma over Chewbacca if you're not already doing it. At the beginning of the battle, just run the event special on everybody and then hit auto. You will get CT2 and you will get CT3 of military might. Again, I'm assuming you're not doing them based on your messages. But I don't see a world in which you're not doing them, to be completely honest. You know, again, same thing with Forest Moon. You can almost certainly do Forest Moon at CT3 with Veer, Stark, Piet, Dark Trooper. Now, I personally prefer Ranged Trooper here because he has all of that extra TM that he sends, so that might make or break it, but Moff Gideon might help you here as well, especially with his TM removal. I would try it, just making sure that everybody on the team is as fast as possible. It doesn't seem like you have terrible mods on these guys, but remodding to get a CT3 on Rebel Roundup is definitely worth it. I would 100% be doing that. And no, we're not going to be doing... I don't know if I said Rebel Roundup or Forest Moon, but I meant Forest Moon. Rebel Roundup's going to be a little bit trickier for you. I just want to check out where our Inquisitors are. I hate that that new GG keeps this going. Okay. Let's see about these Night Sisters. All right. You could probably, if you give Merrin her Zetas, you could probably do CT2 with this team as is. CT3, it depends on how much you want to add investment to them. It would be more about Zetas than anything else. I don't necessarily think it's the most worth it thing in the world to do right away. But you could almost certainly do it. Did I get all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4. I know Fanatical Devotion. I think we hit them all. Sith, right? Sith you should be able to do because of your First Order team. Alright, let's see what we're up. Let's check some stuff out, shall we? No Malgus. No Bane. Slan, I see you messaged me, so I appreciate that, man. Outrider, definitely keep working on Outrider. Let's just check out these raid teams. Well, before we check out these raid teams, let's actually check out the rest of your guild and how they're doing the raid. Alright, so 47 million, 60 million, it looks like they were going down in the speeder bike raid. Doesn't look like terribly too much priority for the raids. So let's see what we got going on here, yeah. You are probably, if we're looking at, let's just assume you want to kind of keep similar rewards to where you are, that overall you are going to want, why can't I get my calculator out? Okay, so overall you are probably only going to need to push like 2 to 3 million in the raid to overperform for your guild, right? So I wouldn't heavily heavily, prioritize it. You have the 5 Gungans, you have the Bombardier Omicron. Once you have Jar Jar, even at R5, that's going to get you that 1.2 million, right? So it's going to kind of put you on par with where your guild kind of expects you to. I don't know if you're planning on investing them in higher relics than R5. I don't think it's necessary for you, for your guild. It's just kind of looking at where you are and where your guild is. It's not something that I would spend a terrible amount of time prioritizing. Let's check out these guys. Did not buy the Lightspeed bundles. Luminara is still very low. Check out our Separatist team. B2, B1. Okay, so we have those 3. What are those Sith looking like? Not really at all, huh? Sith. No Darth Maul even upgraded. Interesting, okay. Interesting. All right, so here's the deal. For the raid, you know, I could see some viability in you getting like an old school Jedi team in there, because it's not going to require a lot of Kyrotech to get them to G12 and to maybe push, what, 600,000 with each of them. So like your Luminara, Kit Fisto squad, it'll take you a month and a half to 3 months to get these guys up, depending. It doesn't seem like your guild is really doing too well in the raid right now. They're hitting about 17 million. So really you only have to get 300,000 in the raid in order to do just as well as anybody else. But if you wanted to do this, you know, your Luminara, Kit Fisto, based on who you already have, you could throw Shakti, Grandmaster Yoda in there. And do we have any others that are on that list? I don't think so. Mace Windu, bringing him to G12. You'll be able to get your 600,000. So between the Gungans doing 1.2, that team doing 600,000, that's 1.8. You're almost 2 million. If you really want to bring that Sith squad up, you can do Sidious and Darth Maul, and do the same thing, get another 600,000 out of them. But my point here is, with Gungans, you're going to be neutral in the raid with the rest of your guild, so I really would not put it as a really super high priority. Keep the Gungans as high priority just because you've already spent so much towards them. I think that Inquisitors are going to be a lot more important than new raid tunes for you. And looking back at your, looking back at your Discord message, that seems to kind of be in the same camp that you're currently in. I really would strongly recommend against holding for the next fleet, and there's a couple of reasons why. You are very far off from Leviathan, obviously. You don't have Malgus, you don't have Bane, which means you don't have Fury class. There's nothing telling us that the next fleet, whenever it comes, probably at minimum 6 months away, that it will be any easier than Leviathan, which already required two conquest units and 2 R9s, so it was a very difficult ship to get. There's nothing saying that the next thing is going to be easy. It might make sense to go for the next counter meta fleet, right? Every time, about 2 to 3 months after the new fleet comes out, they release a ship that can kind of beat it with an old fleet. But I wouldn't count my chickens before they hatch on a new fleet, especially with the timeline. I would really think about pushing yourself forward. Let's see what we got here. Where are we on profundity? It's not that bad. versus Leviathan, but then we need a lot more of this stuff, right? Yep. Where are we on Jabba? It's not terrible. Let's see what those Jabba Omicrons are, marquees are looking like. Oof. Okay. If I, oh, and let's just check one more. Okay. So if I had things my way on your account, I would 100% be starting to slow farm Skiff, Cursitam, Bosch, and finishing Radis. Now, when I say slow farm Cursitam, he is a Cantina farm. What I mean by that is maybe right now just do 5 battles a day so that you can still get your signal data and not cut yourself off from signal data for the week to 2 weeks that it'll take you to farm him. Jabba is going to be largely very important for you. Profundity is largely going to be very important for you, if not just to make your life a little bit easier for your fleet climbs. Your entire shard is executors, and when I was running my Profundity, I found that I could win about 90% of the time if I focused down Xanadu Blood, killed that, and then I hit auto. And almost all of the time after that, it would win the battle. Every once in a while, you lose one, but it's really nice if you have to do multiple battles a day for you to be able to do them on auto, work smarter, not harder, right? I think that those 2 farms are going to be super, super, super important for you. When it comes to Inquisitors, let's just really quick go back to your guild so we can get an idea of where your guild is on that. Raids, TP, TW, units. 332. Load this up. Here we go. Let's see. $8 Grand Inquisitors. So I'm assuming you're getting between 5 and 8 shards per month on Inquisitors towards Riva, which is not bad. I think that what I would say for you is, in terms of farming priority, Gungans are your top priority only because you've already done it. You're already there. You literally just need Jar Jar to come back around. I would say that slow farming those Jabba shards and Profundity would be your next priority, with Inquisitors actually coming in 3rd there. But now the thing is, I always think of a hierarchy of farming where it's the most important thing you're farming, you're relicking. The second most important thing that you're farming, you are gearing. And the third most important thing that you are farming, you are shard farming, right? So you can kind of get away with doing a little bit of all at the same time with most of the things. The unfortunate thing is that your Inquisitors are mostly done and your Jabba is not, so you kind of have to flip-flop the shard portion there. I would start slow farming that farm while gearing the characters that are not marquees to get them ready. As those things start to get ready, you are going to relic those characters. Profundity is largely going to be super important for you because the faster you get it to 5 stars, the faster you can kind of slow down on it and not have to 7-star it right away, right? Which would be really nice for you. Any additional or extra gear after that can go towards your Inquisitors. And honestly, I can see you getting Jabba and Profundity done in like the next 5 to 6 months, and then Inquisitors within 9 months. And realistically, your guild is probably going to be at 12 to 15 Grand Inquisitors at that point. So it's not like you're going to really be holding your guild back, and it doesn't seem like it's a huge push for them. Jabba's going to be really big for you because you'll be able to get the Rebel Roundup Assault Battle. You will have a great squad for Conquest anytime they ask you to do something without a Force user. He's just an all-around great squad overall. Smuggler's Run 2 is amazing. You're working on the Outrider, which is going to help you anyway for Profundity. So there's kind of a little bit of synergy towards that. Profundity is going to give you additional crystal income if you have refused to do more battles a day. It'll help you because it'll be easier for you to do those battles and get through it quicker. Raid priority, I would just take with a grain of salt. Again, your Gungans are going to overperform your guild. You might want to take them to R7 and you'll be doing like the 1.8, and then you're going to be significantly overperforming your guild. But the nice thing about some of the raid teams that I isolated by like slow farming Luminara and Kephisto is that's not going to be a Chirotech team. So you're going to be able to get all of those characters to G12 without using the Chirotech that you're going to be needing for the Jabba Marquise, the Profundity Marquise, the Inquisitor Marquise. So it's just one thing that I would really consider is reversing the way that you're looking at things based on your guild, based on where you are in the game. That hopefully answers everything that you need to answer. Let's move on from there. Oh, before I move on from there, just keep in mind the assault battle stuff that I said to you in the beginning. If you need some help and you get better idea of your assault battles and you message me on Discord and you're like, oh, I actually have them at CT3, then great, you don't have to worry about it. But I've already isolated ones that if you're not doing at CT3 already, you should be able to do at CT3. And Captain Amazing, I know, has been putting together guides of like lower gear teams and how to get through them a little easier. I don't know how many of them he's finished so far, but that's been his goal. I think it's like 2 or 3. And we're going to find a place to put those on Discord as well to make it a little easier for other people. But from there, let's move it right along. All right, let's see. Tailspin. Last we spoke, I was working on Inquisitors for my guild. Since then, I've finished them and moved into a larger guild. Good. I am at a bit of a crossroads. Before I even read this message, we got to up that Jabba farm, don't we? Let's get that counter going. There we go. At a bit of a crossroads, couple of relic levels from Ray, then the choice seems to be either JML, Jabba, or Profundity. Closer to JML than anything, my Jedi could use the help. Would appreciate some insight here. Fleet Arena, mostly Executors, 1 Profundity. Are you coordinating? No fleet Discord, finishing top 3 each day, time permitting though. Assault battles, all CT2 aside from the Jedi one and Duel of Fates. What are you currently working on? Gungans. Are you dead set on continuing? The farms you're doing need it for the raid, so yes. How highly do you value efficiency? Still need to focus on efficiency, I think. Conquest needs help. I'm in between crate 3 and 4 routinely and really need to be getting the gold crate at some point. JML is going to significantly help you with that. Are there any favorite characters you want to prioritize, even though you know it's probably not smart? Would love to get Leia up and running soonish, but certainly need Jabba first. The nice thing about that, if you really want Leia, is that Jabba and Leia kind of have some synergy there. JML and Leia kind of have some synergy there. Like you kind of you're in this, for lack of a better word, this foursome between JML, Jabba, Profundity, and Leia. But let's see what we actually look like. All right, so we're in a new guild. We are at 5.9 million. We have our executor. We're finishing top 3. Let's see what this guild is doing for this raid. Still doing speeder bike as of right now. 7-1. So you're probably going to get your new raid relatively soon. I am going to say right now, let's see, your average. What is the average? Average 8. All right, so the new rate is very new, right? So I don't really know where the averages are going to be, but based on the last guy and based off of your guild and based off of the guild GP average, I think you can probably realistically expect that eventually your guild is going to be wanting to go for the 130 box, but probably for right now, Let's just pull it up in game real quick so I can take a more educated guess and people don't call me stupid. I would say probably the 67 to the 78.5 million spot. Let's see what your guild is looking like. Or I know what your guild is looking like. Let's see what you are looking like. Alright, so we're almost done with these, but they're going to have to get to relic levels. Okay. Ba-da-da-da-da. B2, Magna Guard. Nothing else too great here. So it seems like, based on the fact that you're already putting some effort into them, that those Gungans are going to be really your primary source here. Okay, though, but you got the Luminara, the Lightspeed bundle, which is nice. You know, if you Zeta her, that Zeta is largely very, very important. It's not an amazing squad with the old Jedi, but I've heard, I haven't tested this because I don't have the Lightspeed bundle, I didn't buy that. But even with just the Lightspeed bundle characters, right? So Luminara, Kephisto, Plo Koon, Eth Koth, and I don't remember who the other one was, because I believe there were 5 of them. Somebody help me out here. Was it Qui-Gon? It was probably Qui-Gon. I've heard with just those 5s, you can max those scores with decent mods. So at, it is original Qui-Gon. All right, perfect. Thank you, Pete. Thrawn, good morning. I've used other characters in that squad. I've heard that you can max with just those characters with the right modding, which means about 900 to 1.2 million just from them. Your Gungans should do another 1.2 million, depending on how hard or how far you're planning to take them. I imagine you're going to take them at least to R5, since you have to get the rest of them to R5 in order to get Jar Jar. What I'm trying to say, again, to you is not to over-prioritize the raid. Because your guild is probably not going to over-prioritize it either. Let's see how we're doing here with closer to JML than anything else. Let's take a look at all these little things here. Hermit's done, nice. Wampa's done, nice. Rebel Officer's done, nice. Still farming that. Still farming that. Okay, still farming that. Radis. Let's take a look. I mean, you're kind of, you've isolated this the way that, you know, that you kind of want it to be. But let's see with Rey and where we're at with everything. You definitely need that Lumi Zeta. 100%. Morning, Limestone. All right, you might as well finish Rey. I mean, look at this. You're right there. It just makes sense. Having another GL will help you. She's good in Conquest. She's not amazing, but she can definitely help you cheese some feats. So I would definitely finish her. Okay. Right. Oh, why am I looking at Leviathan? Yeah, we're doing good over here. I got chores to do all day, man. I gotta mow the lawn. I gotta go grocery shopping. We gotta do laundry. It's chores day. Um, Once my wife wakes up, she yells at me when I do chores before she wakes up because she says it wakes her up. Let's see these Jedi again. I'm assuming we have GMY up. Oh, we actually don't have GMY up. Interesting. Interesting. Even if you don't want to bring GMY up right now, bringing Shock up 2 levels might be a good replacement for Eve-Koth as well. Just because she has that shred of taunts on basic, which will help you to get those DDKs and stops. Yeah, nobody in my neighborhood has like teenagers, and my yard has, I have a septic tank, so I have like 3 of those like pump things throughout my yard. I think that a neighborhood kid, even if there was one, is just going to end up running them over. So I do it. It's a small yard. It doesn't take that long. We just bought a mower for it this year. Last year we paid a local guy. But we're poor, lower middle class homeowners. So let's see. So we're doing most of these at CT2. You say except for the Jedi, right? So it was except for Jedi and Duel of the Fates. We don't care about Duel of the Fates right now. Commander, Han, C3PO is still coming up. So Chewbacca. Yeah, I'm gonna have to flush out the shit there, huh? Do you even have R2? I mean, I could see you already doing the Rebel 1 at CT2 with this. It would just be a little bit tough. So the tough love here is you know, because of your guild, yeah, finish off the Gungans if you well, here's the thing. If you think you can get to them before August 1st, or August like 3rd, or right, August 10th, whenever it's going to end. Because if I remember correctly from looking at them, you don't have any of them relicked right now, but they are fairly close in terms of star level. The thing that you're going to have to kind of remember here is that if you don't get them by August, they're probably not coming around for another 3 months after that. And by that point, the ROI of getting something up just for the raid, granted, they're good in GAC too, so you'll get some other use out of them, but the ROI of getting something just for the raid is not going to be there anymore. So if you can get these guys like right away, if you can get them in the next month, then prioritize them. If you're not going to be able to get them in the next month, then maybe downplay them a little bit. That Jedi team, you're going to be able to get at least that 1.2 relatively easily, at least with a remod. You're right in that. What do I do? JML, Jabba, Profundity, Leia is really the way to go for you. I would do JML first. I sometimes tell people to go Jabba first, but I'm going to tell you to go JML first because you're prioritizing conquest, right? One, Gen Knight Luke and JML are going to help you get the Jedi Assault Battle complete so that you're going to have the CT3 there. Military Might, it's going to help you complete, so you'll have the CT3 there. He is the hands-down best conquest unit in the game. He is very good at Proving Grounds as well. The thing with JML is he can help you cheese feats with just about any feat. He can't help you cheese kill feats with dark side characters for the most part, but anything other than that, he can help stall battles. We don't have Voluntary Vanguard this time around, so you're gonna need at least a 4-star Watt, preferably with the Zeta. So I would get the Zeta on there just so you get that turn right away, so you can give him tank tech so that he's constantly taunting. But if you want to push conquest, you need Jedi Master Luke. If you're getting top 3 all the time, you don't have to over prioritize profundity, but you are going to want to get it sooner rather than later, which is why I would do JML, Jabba, profundity, and then Leia after that. Once again, when it comes to Gungans, if you think you can have them done by August, like, again, it's a 7-day event. I think it says it comes back the 4th, so if you can have them done by August, like, 10th, then prioritize that team for your guild. But if you can't, it's going to be really hard for you to get them done in a reasonable time, and that Jedi squad is going to kind of be the primary source for you in your current guild. It's the most basic. It's the most basic path that people go on, or that I tell people to go on. But I think it's also an important path, because once you've done the JML, Jabba profundity thing, you can kind of go off in your own direction. And the reason I'm saying Leia at that point is specifically because you've isolated and said that you should do Leia. And the nice thing is that it will be easier for you because of that. Jabba will give you Smuggler's Run 2. Leia will give you Endor Escalation 3, though it's really not something that we need to prioritize right now. So it's not that big of a deal. Don't over prioritize things that your guild is not going to over prioritize. Again, with the raid, with where they're going to be, 1 or 2 pretty decent raid teams is going to do you just fine. Okay, so I don't think we have too much more to say there. I think you're predominantly on the right path, and you've seen my stuff before, you've watched my stuff before, but I will tell you, yes, finish Rey. She's right there. She will help you in all aspects of the game. It doesn't make sense not to finish Rey. Okay, let's take a look here. Oh, look, everybody's making fun of me on Discord. That's what we do. What we're going to do right now is I'm just going to go upstairs real quick, take a 2-minute break to give myself a little bit more coffee. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to pop this in. I'll be right back. I'm going to try. We're at 1,000 subs here. I'm trying not to put ads in my stuff because they kind of piss me off when I'm watching them. But since I'm going to be gone anyway, I'm going to pop up my screen and we're going to press the button and see what happens. I won't be here because I don't want that kind of stuff to roll while I'm talking because whatever. So go take a pee break, grab yourself some whiskey, do what you got to do. I'll be back in 2 minutes. So I'm back. I pressed the button. Here's the deal. And I don't know, YouTube makes it appear like when I press the button to insert an ad that that it's just going to haphazardly add ads now. So at this point forward, guys, please, if some kind of ad pops up, let me know, because I don't want them playing when I'm not on break. And if that happens, then I'm just not pushing that button ever again. But let's move on. Let's see what we got. Well, you got punched in the face with an ad while I was on break, while I was at my ad thing on. But my point is, at this point, right now, at this point, while I am talking, I don't want ads playing. I don't want you guys inundated with ads. That's not my purpose. Yeah, I'd like to make some money on the background, right? But passively. So in the beginning, sure, pre-roll, awesome. But I don't want like roster reviews cut up by an ad. I don't want raid things cut up by an ad. That's not why we're here. So if that happens during the rest of this stream while I'm not on an actual break, please tell me so that I know for the future not to press that stupid button. Right? Got it? Perfect. Let's move on. All right, we got this one. What's our time? 1:11. 11:30. JamesHargrave. I think that's Umbrella Academy, right? I believe so. Umbrella Academy. 3 Leviathans, 4 Profundities, and the rest Executor. I'm not ranked high enough to use or make use of the Discord, I don't think. 20th to 40th. Rebel Roundup CT1, Forceman CT1, or CT2 for Rebel Roundup. Forceman CT1, Places of Power CT2, Military Might CT1, Ground War CT2, Secret Shadow CT3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're missing one here. Give me a second, I'll figure it out. Rebel Roundup, Forest Moon, Places of Power, Ground War, Military Might, Secrets and Shadow, Fanatical Devotion. Got it. Currently awaiting Queen Amidala, this conquest coming. 16 shards short. Guild is ramping towards Cam. Just Echo to Relic and 5s to get from R5 to R7. So you're doing light speed. Interesting. You're not doing ROTE. Or maybe you're doing on and off. I was supposed to be doing Executor for GAC and Fleet, but this has been on pause because of Cairo and Relic mats. If I took the game any more serious, I probably wouldn't enjoy it. So I prefer to farm what I like versus the meta efficiency. These are the list of my favorite characters so they can be farmed for GAC and raids. Alright, so these are actually the hardest roster reviews that I could ever possibly do. Just because, you know, when you are someone that wants to play for fun, it's very hard for me to say, hey, go for this thing or go for that thing. But we're going to try. I'm assuming that you are in a more casual-oriented guild, that you're in a guild that doesn't care too terribly much about what you're doing. But we'll see. You seem to have your CT1s in order, so you have your Chirotechs in order. You don't have Fanatical Devotion. That's not one we're going to worry about right this second. Alright, Jedi Master Kenobi, Rey, SOKR, so we have 3. Again, you can do Places of Power at CT3. It's going to be very long. It's going to be very boring. But it can be primarily autoed with SOKR and Kylo Ren unmasked. So that is an option for you. You'd have to watch videos on it. It's not my expertise. I've never had to do it. I know it's a very, very, very common tactic. But essentially, it's about hitting auto, letting SOKR ramp up, and then coming back at the end to just kind of kick everything's ass. Again, just might not be your cup of tea to try based on what you're telling me, though. Let's go here. I mean, it's nice. You are getting something. I would like to see you get more. You have a Negotiator and you have Marauder, though. 3 Leviathans, 4 Profundities. Guys, how does Marauder perform against Profundities and Executors? I know it obviously performs very, very well against Leviathans, but I don't really know how it does against Executors and Profundities. I'm gonna like really take some time here to see what's going on, because I feel like this is gonna be a very different review than I normally would give. Alright, let's check out this guild. Alright, so doesn't seem too hardcore. I'm not gonna over prioritize the raid. Nobody has any idea about Negotiator Marauder against Executor Profundity? I'd love to learn something today. I teach all of you. Why can't you teach me? Let's see. I can only assume that we are buying Lightspeed bundles, unless Kylo Ren and Rey are favorite characters of yours. So you do spend some fun money, it seems like. Maybe you don't. Sometimes I say that people bought Lightspeed bundles and they message me on Discord all mad. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not mad at you. I spend money. If you watch the video that I did with Fat Phil on his channel, you'll see just how much money I've spent. It's a little, well, over 7.5 years, it's not that bad, but when you think about all of them, it's kind of gross. Okay, let's go back to Discord for a second. These are our favorite characters. You almost have Quad May, which is nice. And you know what? Here's the interesting thing. If you're going to be getting Quad May relatively soon, and your favorite characters are like Padme, Obi-Wan, and Master Qui-Gon, you can do relatively good with them in the new raid, and you'll probably overperform your guild, assuming that they even do the new raid. I would 100% prioritize Zori Bliss right now. Get her to that 100. You already have Rey. I'm looking at them, and it does look like you're already farming for her, so that's fine, but I would definitely prioritize it if you're slowly doing it at this point, just because you have the rest of the team, and she makes that B team of Resistance go burr. Echo is not an issue because your guild is pushing Cam a little bit, right? So that's not something you even have to worry about. So we knock Zori out, we knock Echo out. Let's see. You're going to want to knock Padme Obi-Wan out, who is already farmable, which is nice. Master Qui-Gon should be farmable in the next 2 weeks or so. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue either. Hermit Yoda I would prioritize as well, because you're gonna eventually want to go for Jedi Master Luke. So Hermit Yoda is kind of already in that wheelhouse there, right? So that's kind of nice how that's working out. Let's just check out a few things. Okay, Rebel Officer Leia is already kind of up there, which is good. Mon Mothma. Okay. Let's check out the rest of your 501st. All right, so you're legitimately almost there on this. Okay. All right, so let me check one more thing. I want to see these Night Sisters. Okay, all right. So it seems like we're kind of already working with our favorite characters. If I had it my way right now, looking at kind of favorite characters, and I'm going to just kind of make some notes for myself as well. Echo is obviously your highest priority. Before I do this, I apologize. This is probably the most stressful review that I've ever done, to be completely honest. I want to check something else out too. As nobody has said anything about Marauder against Executor and Profundity, I'm just going to assume that it's not the best thing in the world. Or you all just hate me. Well, and you probably need your Bad Batch higher anyway. Am I stupid? Do I not see Razor Crest at all? Taser Crest. Okay. I would definitely continue working on Razor Crest 110% at the very least right now. But if I had it my way based upon what you want to do with your account and what your favorite characters are, I would prioritize Echo as your most important character, because you want to get those cam shards. Your guild is prioritizing. Your guild is doing light side Geo. I would be prioritizing Zori Bliss as your next most important character, because it's going to make a team that you already have basically go burr, and it's going to help you with GAC. You're going to be getting Quadme in that next, once the next Conquest cycle starts, so in 2 weeks. But Quadme's not going to work super great without both of her boys. Padawan Obi-Wan's going to be a little bit quicker because he's on a relatively nice Cantina slot. Master Qui-Gon is unlikely to be on Cantina and is going to be a little bit slower. Even if you refresh that once a day, you know, you're looking at 100 plus 85 plus 34 times 3 divided by 5. You're still looking at about 4 months. You know, so you do have some time on having to upgrade those guys. I would do Echo. I would do Zori. At that point, you know, I would really try to get yourself Executor. You know, take a little bit of break from the fun farms. You should have Razor Crest pretty close. What I think people don't realize sometimes with farms like Executor, which are a little bit tougher, is it'll increase your crystal income so much that 100% hate your ass. I love you, Black Hammer. It'll increase your crystal income so much that it is going to allow you to more quickly do the fun things that you're doing. Even if it knocks you into the top 20, that's taking your 50 crystals a day and bringing it to 100 crystals a day. If you can get yourself to the top 10, which isn't hard based on the fleet Discord that you currently have, or the fleet compositions currently had, you're taking it and multiplying it by 4, and that is a huge deal. It'll get you to the things you want faster, right? So I would do Echo, I would do Zori, then I would do Executor. At that point, maybe that's the time to Relic Merrin. You have the other Night Sisters at Relics. I enjoy my Relic Night Sisters. Mine are all at R8. You don't necessarily need to bring them all to all R8 right now. I would say that R3 to R5 point is probably a nice natural stopping point for you. Where to go? Man, it sucks. It's some of your favorite characters. Like, how is... I'm a Gundy. It's crazy that that's anybody's favorite character just because he literally shows up to die. Like, that is his whole purpose. Kit Fisto, I get. He's actually one of my favorite Jedi as well. So I get that. After doing your Executor and your Merrin and finishing that out, you should have Master Qui-Gon kind of finished up by that point, which makes that actually not a bad time to do your Quad May, Padawan Obi-Wan, and Master Qui-Gon team, which will help you with Duel of the Fates, but it's also going to just give you your nice GAC team that you really want. What I would personally recommend doing at that point, and by the way, while all of this is going on, I would be getting Get 1 to finish up her Hermit Yoda as quickly as possible. So after you've done Echo Zori Executor, that's my concession here, Merrin, and then going into Quad May, Hermit Yoda should be done at that point. I would get him up to Relics. This is where I'd really strongly consider doing Jedi Master Luke. He's going to really help you in Conquest. He's going to help you with getting some more of those CT3s, the CT3 on Ground War, the CT3 with the CLS squad on Military Might. He's just an overall strong squad for both TV as well as GSC, as well as Conquest, as well as Proving Grounds. It's just a great squad to have. Once you finish JML, if you want to start doing your Kit Fisto, your Eth Koth, and your I'm a Gundy, I mean, I don't fully personally recommend them. They're not great. Jedi Kit Fisto does really decently in the new raid, but you're going to probably overperform your guild anyway. Once you have Rex and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon going. And they're not doing so well in the old raid anyway. That's when you can kind of do your Kit, your Eth, and I'm a Gundy. They're not going to be the best Jedi to use in the game, but that's the concession that I'm going to make, is that you do that after you do Jedi Master Luke. Now, this is the point where I'd say go for Jabba. Jabba is super important for modding. It's going to help you with Rebel Roundup 3. He's a great Conquest character. He's a great with Smuggler's Run 2. He's great for GAC. But if you would prefer to round out some of your favorite teams, then maybe that's when you do like Dash Rendar and you go for Profundity, right? Do you have to go for Profundity? I don't necessarily think you have to do it. I would recommend it, but you don't have to. Your Iden squad, that's probably going to be the last squad that you do out of your favorites, and that's when you can do, your Iden. That's when you can do, let's see, who do we have here? What do we got? So you can do your Iden. That's when you can do your, your Scout Trooper, so that you can have an Iden squad. That's where you might do like Death Trooper. And if you're not doing two squads, you can throw really anything else in there as long as they don't have a leader ability and as long as they're not Dark Trooper. So again, this is not the way that I would normally build this is not how I would normally build an account, but recognizing that you want to have fun with your favorite squads while also doing a little bit better, I would say, Echo Zori Executor, Merrin to round out those Night Sisters. That's when Padme, Obi-Wan, and Master Qui-Gon should be done with their shards from slow farming them, into Jedi Master Luke, into those shit tier Jedi, Kit, Ethan, I'm a Gundy, and then that's where I personally would say go Jabba, but if you want to, I would do the Dash Rendar into Profundity. Hopefully that helps you out. Again, probably the most stressful one I've done, because it's really hard for me to say, hey, let's do this, when you're isolating fun, when you're saying, oh, I don't really want to play any more serious than I am. So I've made a few concessions that'll help you in the game, but will get you the things that you want to have. So hopefully it helps. Silky, cheers, man. How's it going? All right, let's see what we got here. Where is Capt? What is our timestamp here? 1:30. 1:30. Okay. See what we got. First time trying something like this. Top 20 of my fleet is 3 Leviathans, 4 Profundities, the rest Executors. I usually finish 3 to 4th. There's no fleet Discord to my knowledge. If you want to find that out, reach out to the people in your fleet shard. I have a 4-minute video on how to do that, and ask them. It's good. It's useful to be in one even if you're hitting top slots. It looks like most of our assault battles are up to snuff. Snuff films. Ground Wars CT2, interesting. Seekers of Shadow CT1, a 2-star Fanatical Devotion in CT2. Currently working on Grand Inquisitor. CT2 without Grand Inquisitor, that's nice. I know you can do it, but that's tough. It was a good job. And throw under relics for the Chimera Leviathan counter and the Riva mission. After that, I'm not sure what was going on. I'm not sure I was planning on going after a potential new GL fleet, expecting one on the road ahead, but now left a bit directionless. Thinking about doing Queen Amidala and friends for the raid and assault battles. I'll have her unlocked after this conquest. Are you dead set on continuing? Thrawn and GI, yes. Okay, so we're going to ignore those two things. Those are things you're doing. How highly do you value efficiency? I'd prefer to be more efficient. Whatever gives me the most ROI or helps the guilds. Are there any favorite characters you want to prioritize, even though it's probably not smart? I'm seriously tempted by Balin Skull. The only problem with me telling you to go towards Balin Skull is technically we don't know what marquees are going to go with him, which means we don't know his timeline. We can assume it's going to be the Great Mothers. We can assume it is going to be whatever the hell her name is, the crazy witch girl. And we can assume that Shin is probably coming to the game. But we don't know the order of marquees or how long that's going to take, or if it's going to be after Ahsoka or before Ahsoka. So it's kind of hard to factor him in. Let's see what we got going on here. Kyber 3. Rank 3 with Executor. That's nice. 7.4 million. I think you so far are the biggest account that we've seen today. Not total, because I've seen some endgame accounts and those people ask me what to do and I say, I don't know what you want from me. The newest thing, obviously. Alright, let's check out this guild so we know what we're talking about. The raid. Speeder Bike Pursuit 127. So again, probably not going to go too terribly crazy on this next raid. You're probably going to want to get a score of like 2 to 2.5 million and be happy from there. We have Jabba. I love that. Thank you. That is beautiful. We have Rey. We have Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So probably assault probably lightspeed bundles, but we don't know. Let's see. We could find out right now. Yes, definitely lightspeed bundles. And again, when we talk about the raid here, right, and what's going to help your guild out for the raid, if you Zeta Luminara, that Jedi squad that comes with their lightspeed bundle, if you mod them for it, you're going to get that 1.2 million, which is going to kind of put you where your guild is probably going to get right now, right? Like Luminara, so let's just check this out. So like Luminara, OG Qui-Gon, Kit Fisto, Plo Koon, and Eth Koth. I'd take Ethkoth out and I put Shakti in. You're going to get your 2.2 million there as long as you lead Zeta Luminara and mod them for it. And that's probably for the next month or two going to overperform the rest of your guild just on the proxy of that. Let's see. Get these guys. Okay, so no there. Do we have Quadme yet? You have Bane, so I'm assuming if you don't, you're at least going to be far enough along. Come on, Jabba. Far enough along that you're thinking about maybe buying shards. I can only imagine. Roll Quadme. We don't have him. Master Qui-Gon's at 4. And if you go for this squad, depending on how close you are for Queen Amidala, you know, depending on how high you want to take them, they seem to be doing pretty well as a 3-man. I have Queen Amidala at Relic 1. I have the other 2 at 5 to 6 stars. And I ran them on auto on CT0, and I got like 280 out of 300,000. So it wasn't bad considering the scores that people are currently posting. I do want to check 2 things out on these assault battles first. All right, so not super great. I will say that when you have Grand Inquisitor, I don't know if Grand Inquisitor on his own will be able to do CT. Oh, you do have Grand Inquisitor. I know Riva can do CT3 of Force Moon. So I'm thinking maybe Grand Inquisitor can do CT2, but I'm not 100% sure. But that'll, you know, be a project for the future. Ground War. Jedi Knight Revan, Jedi Knight Luke. I'm assuming you're not using Jedi Knight Luke as a leader. Revan, Luke, Hermit Yoda. Not the strongest Jedi, so I can see why CT2 is not a 3-star. Though if you can somehow get Jolie in there, you can maybe cheese it to a 3-star. Remember, you're going to want to use Jedi Knight Luke as your lead as slow as possible. Maybe that'll help. Okay, and then again, to answer you about the GL fleet, I talked about this earlier in the stream. We did not get an announcement in the road ahead. You posted this before the road ahead, obviously. That leads me to believe that we're not seeing a new fleet for the next 6 to 8 months at least, based on the volume of characters coming to the game. And kind of, you know, keep in mind that Leviathan was very tough to get for a mid-range account, not for a high-grade account. That was actually pretty friendly because of the Conquest characters, but Conquest characters make life a little bit hard for people who are in your point in the game. We don't know what to expect from that fleet when it does eventually come out. Let's see, Radis, Hermit. Well, I know you have those. Duh. Why am I looking at these things? Because you have Jedi Knight Luke, we know that. Closer. Oh my god, you're so close to Jedi Master Luke. Just fucking get him. There's no reason not to, like literally at all. That's a little further. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. All right, so most of these assault battles are in good order. Secrets and Shadows, you don't have to worry too much about after CT1 until you get to the point that you are starting to actually invest in that team. But I do want to see what those Night Sisters look like. I'm assuming, because you have bought a bunch of the Lightspeed bundles, that it is more likely that you did this with Phoenix, though. Oh, okay. But no Marin. All right. What I will say is, if you bring Marin to G12 and invest the Zetas in this team, you could probably do CT2, maybe even CT3. I don't think it's a priority. It is ROI, but I don't think it's a priority. Again, you tell me, so you tell me that you want to go for efficiency. The hard thing here is that you're obviously also isolating things like Balin's Skull, and you're isolating things like Quad May, which maybe aren't going to be super efficient, especially when you already have a raid team that's probably going to perform at or about the level that your guild is going to want you to be at for the raid in order to do what it needs to do. I will say that you really do need to go after Jedi Master Luke 100%. You are so close. There's no reason not to do it at this point. It's going to help you significantly. It's going to finish out Ground War for you. It's going to help you in Conquest to get some of these characters maybe a little bit easier, so that, assuming that you're spending a lot of crystals, so that you're not having to spend as many crystals towards getting those characters. He's going to help you with proving grounds for characters that you don't have that are kind of popping in and out. And you're just so disgustingly close to getting him already. If you want to go for the Quad May squad, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but I think that once you have JML and Jabba, and because all of your assault battles are already up to snuff, I've said snuff 4 times now today. Since they're already where they need to be, you are in a position where you can make more choices, right? Before having Jabba and JML, you don't have that position so much, but where you are now, you do have a little bit more choice. So, finish the run for your counter Leviathan fleet, finish GI, because that's going to be the Reva thing. Hands down, prioritize Jedi Master Luke as your next project after that. You can do Quad May in that interim if you really want to. If you're saying, hey, that's the team I want to do, and I do want to get Duel of the Fates, then fine, go for it. It's going to help your guild. It's going to put you above the average for your guild considerably, and it sounds like it's like a fun squad that you want to go for. At that time, we're probably looking at 3 months out from where we are right now, and we'll know more about Balin's Skull at that point, So normally I would go out a little bit further with you and say go for Leia, but, I would say reassess once you have Jedi Master Luke to see if Balin's Skull is worth going for you. You'll have the ROI already. You'll be where you need to be if you want to be there. So if you want to go for something that's super fun for you, then you can go for that super fun thing. And hopefully we'll know more about his team composition at that point, what we can expect. We're getting a new tag, a mercenary tag. We don't know how it's going to perform. Mercenary tag might take on the tag of the leader, for all we know, which would be super cool. It would be a new, interesting way for the game to utilize tags. So I can't give you too much other than that, but definitely don't sleep on Jedi Master Luke. And again, at that point, I personally, after doing the Quad May that you kind of want to do, I personally would go for Profundity or Leia. but you know, if Balin's Skull seems achievable, then go for him. Just keep in mind that Bo-Katan Mandalore required 3 R7s or 4. I think it was 4 was Beskar Mandalore required for Bo-Katan. I think it was 4. And that's just something that you need to be ready for, because Balin's Skull is not going to be easier than that. And also keep in mind that earlier, it was 4. Earlier epic confrontations required like 7 to 10 characters, so we don't really know what to expect from him at all. But after JML, hopefully you'll have a little bit of a better idea. Just don't sleep on it. Reaper, cheers. All right, let's move on. Corran, I don't know. Oh, it was in the mercenary tag thing. So here's the thing, and I'll show you. I actually didn't put it in my Road Ahead post, but the day that the Road Ahead came out, they released so many different posts, and some of them were in posts, some of them were in the forums, some of them were just in game. So all of this information was literally all over the place, right? Oh man, I post way too much. So it was so ridiculous that I rewrote the Road Ahead to include almost all of it. There were a few things that I missed. The mercenary tag is something that I missed, but it was in the in-game announcement. I think I missed it, right? Yeah, I don't think I wrote mercenary tag. But there was a lot more information that they gave us than actually was in the Road Ahead. And mercenary tag was part of it. They did not say anything about the mercenary tag. So if you're asking about the whole leadership tag thing, that was me suggesting like that would be a cool way for that tag to work. But we literally know nothing. We are the Jon Snow at this point, other than the fact that the tag is happening. So expect GCs in the future to say win with a whole team of mercenaries or some bullshit like that. All right, let's see. Let's close that up. Let's get my time. Let's just say 148 for posterity. All right, so, hey, Egnards, thanks for all that you do. What does the top 20 of your fleet arena look like? 1 Leviathan, 1 Profundity, 1 Chimera, rest executors. I usually finish top 10, not coordinating, talking on my fleet Discord. Again, I say this literally every single review. I really recommend reaching out to see if there is a Discord, and if not, I recommend setting one up. It does not take a lot of work. It is very useful. It makes life easier for you. Most of our assault battles seem to be in some degree of order, except Fanatical Devotion. Farming strategy for Embo, Fennec, Gungan, Stop, Tie, Echelon, Ravensclaw, Marauder, working all over the place. Working in Relics for the last few requirements for JML. Are you dead set and continue? Not really. I'm open to anything, but would like to help my guild out the best way possible. How highly do you value efficiency? Very. I'm actually hoarded quite a bit of resources because I want to be as efficient as possible and don't want to waste resources. Just need to push in the right direction. Are there any favorite characters you want to prioritize, even though it's probably not smart? Probably Profundity and the Rogue One squad. The good news is that when you go for Profundity, the Rogue One squad is pretty good. Mary J, yes. Mercenaries, all we know about Mercenaries is that Balin's Skull is getting that tag. We don't know anything else about it. It was not in the Road Ahead. It was in the in-game announcement. Right, so if we go to that in-game announcement, I'm going to pop it on here, and I'll show it on my screen if I can find it. Where is the newsletter? Night Troopers, Balin's Skull. These are probably not... there it is. Yeah, right. All of this information they kind of just put all over the place, which is ridiculous. So if we look at this right here, for the Ahsoka content, each marquee, we are thrilled to celebrate the Disney Plus show Ahsoka with plenty of exciting releases over the coming months, including Imperial Remnants, Night Sisters, a new mercenary tag, and Ahsoka's own squad. Then they go on to talk about Balin's Skull. So this information was all over the place, right? Like it was literally all over the place, which is crazy. And I'm sorry for sidetracking this roster review, but just so that we're aware of that. So let's see. We have the .gg up. So anyway, the good news with Profundity, I love my Rogue One squad as long as you put the Omicron on Radis. It eats up the DTMG squad. I love destroying that squad. People love putting it on defense, thinking it's hard to beat. It's really not if you have Radis. Executors hitting top 10. I would love, listen, you got one Leviathan, one Profundity, one Chimera, rest is Executors. You really should be finishing strongly, at least top 5 at the very, very least, especially with the squad that you have. I don't know if people are hitting you or if you're just not doing the battle and you're choosing not to. But if it's people hitting you, start to talk to that fleet Discord. Start reaching out to people. It'll be very, very helpful. Oh, wait a second. I'm going to check that out. I didn't realize there was a raid history per person now. Speeder bike. So again, this is classic. Like a lot of the accounts that we've been looking at today have been kind of like mid-tier accounts. Your guild is not going to heavily prioritize this new raid. Speeder bike 3 million. So if you're going to be getting like 1.2 to 1.8 on this next raid, you're probably going to perform at the level your guild expects you to. We don't know, man, but I'm expecting Thrawn to come as the next GL after Ahsoka. I said right after Jabba, I said, hey, and I've written so many posts about this, but after Jabba there'd be one more set of GLs, right, which was Leia, because they don't do sets anymore technically, even though they kind of are a set. And then there would be Thrawn and Ahsoka. So I'm right, and everybody else should bow down. Morgan Elsbeth might have that tag. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to be a bunch of tags. There's going to be a bunch of people with that mercenary tag. We already have Jabba, which is... Oh, wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong account. I'm looking at this one. Okay, no GLs yet. But we were looking at the right guild. Is this the same? Oh, no, it's not the same guild. So I must have just clicked that afterwards. Let's just double check. We're looking at that 10. Yes. All right. So I must have just clicked that just before. How close are we in Jedi Master Luke? Very close. So 100% finished Jedi Master Luke. He's going to help you with that ground war. He's going to get that ground war to CT3 for you, which will be beautiful. What are we looking at for the rest? Okay. All right, I want to see collection again because I'm curious. This. Look at the Jedi. All right, so we have not bought that Lightspeed bundle. So yeah, the one rough thing about that is it seems like you are going to struggle a little bit in this raid right off the bat. Magna. I mean, with the B2, I don't know how this is going to work because I haven't tested it yet without stop, but with B2 lead, Magna Guard, B1 kind of sucks. I think Droideka is eligible for the raid, right? So maybe that. I don't want to say this is going to guarantee 1.2 million. We don't really have these guys up and running yet. That sucks. Check Jedi one more time. We don't really have any eligible Jedi up there right now. It's going to be tough. All right, let's see. All right, well, your farming stop. Okay, so that's something because you're going to want to get at least one raid team in here. Oh my goodness. I'm personally thinking that your best raid team option is going to be that Sith Seppi squad based on what you have. And again, because your guild's not doing super great with raids, they're not going to expect terribly much from you. So that means, you know, gearing Sidious, and that means starting the farm on Darth Maul. It's like B2, Darth Maul, Darth Sidious, Magna Guard, and stop. And that should give you a viable Jedi team, a viable raid team to kind of be on par with your guild. But you do need to prioritize Jedi Master Luke over anything else right now. I would definitely say that you're going to want to get into the Jabba camp, right? You're farming. Oh, good. You have them at 7 stars. It looks like you like just farming things, which I don't hate. I kind of get that. I did the same thing as I was building up stuff. I always made sure I was farming like 3 or 4 things just as a slow farm. Farming the ships. Let's just check this out one more time. Not terrible there. Profundity. Okay. So here's what I do. I'd finish up Jedi Master Luke, right? I would finish up Jedi Master Luke. I would get Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, and finish out Stop because you're farming Stop right now to give you that raid team. I would be working towards getting Jabba after that. I would be working towards doing Profundity after that. And while you're doing Profundity, you can work on your Rogue One team. So that'll give you the team that you really like. It'll also give you JML, who you're kind of already working on, which will give you Ground War at CT3. It'll give you Jabba, who's going to be really great for you in Conquest, just like Jedi Master Luke, but it's also going to be really good for you because of modding and Smuggler's Run 2, and it's going to give you CT3 in Rebel Roundup. The Profundity squad, it's really just nice to have a secondary GL ship squad, because then you don't have to, you don't have to like speed farm the shards. You can get it to 5 stars and then let the rest of them naturally accrue as the rest of your fleet shard kind of progresses. I would highly recommend reaching out to that fleet Discord because that rank 10, I would like to see it getting to like 5 at the very least. Top 5 would be super ideal, and based on your fleet Discord, it sounds like you'd be able to do that. Again, with doing Jabba and getting Outrider, you know, and doing Profundity, that would be the time to isolate the squad that you enjoy and that you want to do, which is your Rogue One squad. right? You're in that point of the game. We've kind of talked about this a lot with a bunch of people today. This has been the theme of the day, where you want to finish out your ROI. You're so close to JML, which leads into Jabba, which leads into Profundity, which is going to lead into Rogue One for you, which is not normally the team that I say to go for next, but because it is a favorite squad, that would be your natural progression point. Once again, I will remind you that I think, based off the way that your account looks today, that your best option for a raid team, because you're not going to want to over-prioritize the raid if your guild is not going to over-prioritize the raid, is going to be getting Darth Sidious, getting Darth Maul, and getting Stop to Relics, so that you can pair them with a B2 lead, as well as with Magna Guard. Now, I will say, and I'm going to give this as my disclaimer, that CG has said, hey, B2 lead might be overperforming, so just keep that in mind going forward. We don't know, but I think you have enough time before you relic any of that stuff, where we'll know in the next week or two whether CG is going to do anything about that, and they really shouldn't, because it's not a magic fucking team or anything. But I think we're good there. I think we got what we need to do. Alright. Guys, we're going to do the same thing that I did before. I need to pee. I've had 2 cups of coffee and some water. Give me a minute to 2 minutes and I will be right back. All right, we are going to try to get at least one more done. I was upstairs, I saw my wife is awake, so we're going to try to get one more done to round out. I think that's all of mine that were on the agenda today. I know a few people have requested in the interim while we've been chatting. The good news is that it's the summer, so I very likely will be able to do those in the next couple of days rather than having to wait till brunch on Sunday. For anyone that is looking for a roster review, this is a great time to do them because I have more time to do them. And next week being a heavy content week, I don't have to worry about relying on roster reviews for brunch. So I have no problem doing them throughout that time. So let's see if we can get at least one more of these done. There we go. Discord. Audrey. Let's just get a timestamp. I always forget to do those. 203. 204, actually. Did you get an ad for the Jedi Master Kenobi event? That's hilarious. Just to confirm, we're only getting them when I'm going on break, right? Because that's when I'm pressing the button. And that would be awesome if it works that way, because then I can get my beer pennies while I'm not here and while I'm not annoying you guys. Greetings, Egnards. Thank you for your time. Mostly Leviathan top 15 with executors and profundities rounding out the rest. I'm not involved with the Arena Discord anymore and only hit top 10 daily. I mean, I don't know what you mean by anymore. Does that mean you just stopped talking in it? Does that mean they kicked you out? Does that mean you're just not in it anymore? because I would recommend rejoining even if you're not getting top 1. It just helps people to know who to hit and who not to hit and everything like that. Con, thank you, man, because that's the goal. I don't want to be intrusive with people, so I appreciate you keeping up on me on that. Even if you just want to hit top 10 and you want to kind of not go too crazy, it's nice when people around you know like when to hit you and when not to. Assault battles look mostly in check. This is all 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's all 7. Technically there's 8. We're not worried about Duel of the Fates right now. Current Naboo raid teams, gear, relics, most efficient way to farm. Are you dead set on continuing? Nah. Efficiency versus fun. I do love farming characters I like, but lean more in efficiency in most cases. Want good shape. Good shape for GL Ahsoka. No need for a day 1 unlock, but I'd like to get her in the first few weeks. Where should I focus my energy spending in crystals? I'm just not sure what the best path forward is. I will likely dolphin level invest in Ahsoka farm, but I would really like to pick up more raid damage and help my guild get back to our prior reward tier. Never done any of these. Would love to hear any glaring deficiencies or low investment improvements you may notice, as well as help in planning out my farming direction. All right, this is gonna be the fun way to finish up on. I have a feeling it's gonna be a long one too. Let's yeah, Mary J, that's why on Discord, and I don't know if you're on our not on Discord, on Reddit. I don't know if you're on our Discord or not, but that's why it's one reason to be on there, because I have my Reddit tag where I tag people if I make a big Reddit post. That's why I put all that information together, and I did that video with Fat Phil. We were talking about just how there was so much information, but it was so scattered that everybody was disappointed by how little it actually felt like. But there was so much in there that they put in all these really weird ways. Stay away from Reddit is a good idea, but you know, with my Reddit tag, you can see the important stuff and just read and not have to like deal with that stuff. But I think people would have largely been a lot more positive on the road ahead if they had put it all in there, which is why I compiled it all into one post, except the mercenary tag I didn't compile because we didn't really know anything about it other than the fact that it was coming. Whether or not it's useful or whether it's just like, you know, Wookiee, we don't know. But let's see what we got here. Let me just make sure that this is the, yes, it is. We have Lord Vader. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 GL. Let's see what ships we got. So we have a 7-star Leviathan. I'm going to tell you right now, if you have a 7-star Leviathan and you're only going to the top 10, that tells me that maybe you hate the fleet climb. Here's my secret. I do Mark 6 in the opening lineup. I always forget who told me about it. I feel like it might have been Limestone, so I apologize that I keep forgetting. If it was someone else, I also apologize. But I hate fleet climbing. I hate the Leviathan meta. Thank you. I appreciate that. I always mess that up. Let me just double check the exact lineup that I have here. I personally use, where is it? Fleet Crime is not bad with Leviathan if you do it the right way. So Fury class, B28, and, oh wait, nope, that's my other one for when I'm hitting profundities. This one. I use Fury class, Mark 6 Sith Fighter in the opening lineup, with B28 and Dagger in the reinforcements. And I find that I can hit auto and win 95% of the time, literally from the beginning of the battle. Now, my fleet Discord is not as active as other Discords, so I can afford 1 loss a night. Sometimes I only need 2 battles to get to first. Sometimes I do need all 5 because I get pushed to 22 instead of to 7. But I do not, I do my entire fleet climb on auto. So for someone that has a 7-star Leviathan and who is maybe only hitting top 10, that might be an option for you to look into in order to get to that top 1 and to reconnect with your fleet Discord without it causing any issues, without it causing any more time constraints for you. We're going to take a look at your guild real quick so we can understand your expectations. All right, so speeder bike, speeder bike. You were doing the 130, so I think that you would need the, is it 90? I think it would be the 90 box probably in order to get where you need to be. Let's find out. Yeah, it's probably the 90 box is where you would need to be, which means you're going to need to buy about 2 million to help your guild get back to where they were. And you're going to want everyone to do that kind of participation. If people are not doing that, your guild needs to get on top of that because it's not right otherwise. Okay, I thought I saw some. I'm still getting used to these new pictures. I like most of them. Some of them are annoying. So it looks like you are getting Jar Jar the next time he comes around. And if you're keeping these guys at R5, I'm not going to tell you to relic them higher. Mine are all R9. They're awesome. They auto. If you're keeping these guys at R5 and you're getting Jar Jar, you're going to be able to get at least 1.2, which is going to be the majority of the score that your guild is going to need from you. So just kind of keep that in mind. Same thing here. You have Padawan Obi-Wan, you have Master Qui-Gon. I am going to assume you have Quad May. We're going to check that in a second. And looks like you bought the Lightspeed bundle here. So you are going to overperform your guild in order to get them where they need to be. If you keep your Gungan team at R5, that's 1.2 million, right? Your guild is going to need to get to that 90 million. 90 divided by 50, you're going to need you to get 1.8 to 2 million total. So if you keep your Gungans at R5, once you get Jar Jar, you're going to get 1.2. This Luminara squad, you can do a couple of different splits with this. I'm not an expert on it just yet. No, it doesn't look like you bought the Lightspeed bundle because I think I'm a Gundy as part of it. Let's see. Maybe he's not. It's Plu, Kit, Luminara, Eithkoth, Qui-Gon. Okay, so you did buy that Lightspeed bundle. Let's see. We've only done one raid cycle right now, so I'm not going to tell you exactly how to split these Jedi yet because I don't entirely know. But what I will tell you is that with Luminara lead, with that Zeta that you already have, so like Luminara, Kit Fisto, I'd personally use Shakti because of the Dispel, Plu Koon, and OG Qui-Gon. If you remod them, that's going to be another 900 to 1.2 without too much problems once you understand the strategy of the battle. So that's already overperforming your guild, right? And then because you have the other two Jedi at R5, I'm assuming you either have Quad May or you're very close to Quad May. I see your question, Kronish, and we'll answer it right after this. And you have Queen Amidala R5s, right? So with even just these R5 squads, you're looking at getting 3.6 million, which is going to be about 50% to 60% higher than your guild's average expectation for you. And that's going to be really, really important for you to keep in mind when you're prioritizing what to do. I would say maybe bring your Queen Amidala and her two boys up to at least R7 because you'll get an ROI from the Duel of the Fates assault battle, and that'll give you another 600,000 points there. So that might be an option if you do want to prioritize something for the guild while still also doing something for yourself. Let's check out both of these tags real quick. Yeah, so we have Darth Maul, we have Sidious, right? We have the majority of an old Separatist team. Now, I use Stop instead of Droid Decast, so I don't know if it's going to get you like the full 900 to 1.2, but using the R5 B2 team with B2, Magna Guard, Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, and I use Stop, but if you don't want to bring Stop up, Droid Decast, I don't know if that's going to get you the full 900 to 1.2, but I think it'll at least get you like that 600-700 million point. So we're looking at you being able to post raid scores of about 4 million eventually over the next couple of weeks, which is going to significantly overperform your guild. Basically what I'm saying is don't worry about over prioritizing doing guild stuff there. And prioritizing the Quad May 3 because they will give you additional ROI otherwise. Let's just kind of take a quick look at some of these assault battles to see if there is some quick stuff that we can help you with. You have Jabba, so Rebel Roundup should be a CT3. This may be a modding issue, but Rebel Roundup should not be an issue for you with Jabba to get to that CT3. I have so many tags. I would say I wish this would just... I wonder if this will clear them all. No, it doesn't clear them all. Gotta clear them all separately. Secrets and Shadows is not necessarily a priority. Fanatical Devotion, not necessarily a priority, but let's just see where we're at with that. Yeah, once you have Reva, Fanatical Devotion should not be a problem for you. Let's see what these rebels around this looks like. CLS, C-3PO, Han Solo. I want you to try this because I think with this squad, if you mod them all for speed, you can do it. CLS, Chewpio, Han Solo, C-3PO, Mon Mothma. Run the event special on everybody, hit auto. You get Chewbacca out of the equation. It may be a little bit of a speed issue. You might want to remod them just to do it. Yeah, like putting a speed arrow on CL. God. This is where the problem comes in, right? Like we look at this triangle that has no speed on it, this protection circle that has no speed on it. This is, I think, where you may be struggling with some of the events. This circle that only has 3 speed on it, Han Solo only having 3 speed on this arrow. We're gonna get to that in a minute. We'll talk about modding in a minute. But that's gonna be your issue with this raid, is modding more than anything else. No, I don't want droids. That'll be the last part of this. You know, this defense triangle with no speed on it. You know, this, what is that, a B mod? A 6B, I think? I don't know if it's 6D or 6B, but that only has 6 speed on it. That's only rolled at once. I hate flat stats. This is like the only acceptable arrow not having speed on it. But again, we'll talk about this in a minute. Did you get Death Trooper yet? Or is it Night Trooper, right? Okay, good. All right, you really aren't necessarily looking for a roster review. You're looking to clear up some things, and I told you how to do that with Military Might. One of those is how to get Ahsoka quickly, and one of those inadvertently is modding. And I'm not a mod expert. Captain Amazing, he's got a great video on modding. It'll change your world. It is the mod Bible. Cap, I think he's sleeping right now because it's like 11 p.m. where he lives, but he needs to change that video to the mod Bible, and Moonborn needs to make a mod Bible picture for it. So first things comes first is Ahsoka. We don't know anything right now, right? We know the first set of requirements. We can predict that it's going to be a more expensive GL. You've already said that you're going to spend some money towards her, you know, that she is a priority. So we're going to kind of do our best to make it as cheap as possible for you. We don't know how many marquees are going to be part of it. We don't know if Ezra is going to be part of it. I personally don't believe that he is going to be, but a lot of people are making really great counterpoints to why he might be. Cap is not an Aussie. He actually worked very close to where I live for a while. We did a video on Tales Off the Holotables, and I found out he worked in the same county that I live in, that I did live in. I don't live there anymore. But he is in the United States Army, and he lives in Japan right now. So he lives far away. But going back to the first point is Ahsoka. We don't know much other than that right now there are 3 marquees. I'm thinking there might be a 4th marquee, but we have no idea. What I would suggest is do not go any harder on Night Trooper. Okay? Night Trooper, keep him where he's at and do your dailies with him to get those free shards. Because he will definitely be shipment farmable before Ahsoka comes out. I think he'll actually probably be free to play farmable if you do, you know, I'd say three refreshes a day if we're trying to get her in the first couple of weeks. But Night Sister is going to be your lowest priority there. If we assume 3 marquees total, which, I don't know, we can't assume that, right? But if we assume 3 marquees total, the next 2 marquees are going to be more important to whale to 6 stars. If you're not worried about a day 1 and are okay with like a first month, you can probably 4-star the second one. Actually, I'd 5-star the second one for free shards. And then shipment farm or free-to-play farm towards the end. But that last marquee, you're going to have to 6-star 10 shards to get as quickly as possible. And then, you know, build up those shards throughout the event, throughout the week to get it to 7. If there are 4 marquees, you can probably, assuming Night Trooper, right, 4-star, 5-star, 5-star, 6-star. If there are 3 marquees, you're most likely going to have to 4-star, 5-star, 6-star. When it comes to doing everything else, that's a personal, you know, relicking issue for you that I can't necessarily solve. I would just keep on top of it. You know, I like to relic the things as they get released. So I've relicked Snips, you know, I've made sure that she's R9 already so that I just don't have to worry about it. It doesn't look like you did yet, and it's okay. It's okay that you didn't, because it's not like it matters. But the bigger issue with your account is the mods, right? That needs to get in order, especially because you have Jabba. Here's the thing. I'm not going to sit here for an hour talking about mods. We are going to just give you the easy case. We're going to give you like the how to shape them up overall. There are about, I'd say, 2 to 3% of characters that this doesn't apply to. But we're not worried about those characters right now. We are worried about getting the majority of your account up to snuff, which I've now said 5 times today. Every character should have a 30 speed arrow. Again, there are a couple of exceptions, like I pointed out, C with the 16% health, General Grievous, you want to have a health one. My Bane has a health one. Some people like a crit avoidance one on Old Daka. I prefer a speed one. we're not worried about that right now. Some people like an accuracy arrow on Jedi Master Kenobi, but only if it has a high speed secondary of like 20 plus. Right? But we're not worried about that right now. Right now, we just need to get the majority of your roster in order. You want a speed arrow on, or a plus 30 speed arrow on everybody right now. You also want speed secondaries on everything. I delete anything that doesn't have a speed secondary. I actually delete anything that is a gray mod that doesn't have 5 speed. Anything that's a green mod that doesn't have a second roll of speed. And anything that's above a green mod that doesn't have at least 10 speed. That's where I am in the game. You, not there yet, right? But we need to start getting our speeds in order. It's not terrible for JMK, but he really does. Like, I don't have anything on any GL that doesn't have, like, at least 20 speed on it. What I do, so people have been messaging me on Discord and Reddit a lot lately and going like, hey, what's your suggestion for mods for this character? I am a work smart, not hard person. I don't work hard. I don't spend my time working on things like that. Here's what I do. Lord Vader, .gg, Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, right? Boom. Mods. Boom. This is what I do. I look at this. That's how I do it. I look at Kyber players and I say, oh, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how I know what set to use. It takes me 30 seconds to do. I don't have to worry about it at that point. It's going to be a slow road. I would isolate one team at a time and start shoring up those mods, deleting anything, getting rid of anything that doesn't have any speed first, and putting the correct mod sets on. It will significantly help you, right? Like, we look at some things that you should be able to do. Your Jabba squad, your bounty hunters, they should be able to CT3 Rebel Roundup, but they're not, most likely because a lot of them aren't fast enough. When you do that, when you start doing that over the next couple of months, you will notice a significant improvement in your roster. I personally only do mod refreshes 2 weeks a month. That's me. For you, I would recommend mod refreshes. Like, I would be doing them daily. I would be really, really trying your best to get this done. I don't want to say as soon as possible, but I do want to say that it's a priority for you, that needs to be done. Your farming strategies aren't a problem, right? That's okay. Your farming strategies are fine. Don't worry about those. Everything else, we want to kind of get on. We want to get on the right track. That's not that. That's not that. I think I've answered the questions that need to be answered. Hopefully that helps. You know, you can look into more, we can look into more targeted mod advice as you get further in, but that's really what you need to be doing right now, not worrying about anything else. Solo, cheers, man. In terms of CLS, I think this question has been kind of answered in the current game state. Is he still important counters for things in PvP? I think so, yes. I think he's still an A squad. They're still a great squad. Datacrons do help the squad out a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of other counters, so they're not needed as much. They do really well in neutral and ROTE. They do really well. I use them pretty often in Conquest. I don't use them as much as I used to in GAC, but I still do use them pretty frequently. You just have to be more careful about using them. Because they also have the ROI of an assault battle behind them, I do think that they are an important team to have. Is it a mandatory team right now? It depends on where you are in the game, but I do still see value in there. With that said, we've done our brunch. We've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We did 7 roster reviews. Those of you that didn't get them today, that possibly did it afterwards or requested them, we'll get them done throughout the week. I do a little bit of work throughout the week. I work at special needs camps, helping them out as a contractor. But that's more in the early afternoon. We probably won't do a stream tomorrow because Conquest and TB start after I'm already working. Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll probably do something. We'll get some roster reviews in there. I did see that there is somebody here on Twitch who is streaming the game who doesn't have any viewers, so kind of maybe a newer guy. I don't know. I've never heard of him before. I don't know anything about him, but for those of you on Twitch, let's just say hi, and we'll enjoy the rest of our day.